It's property tax season, and as a multifamily broker, I usually get lots of calls around this time from folks who bought properties in the year prior, and now their property taxes have escalated. That's pretty normal. But I'm also getting a lot of calls this year from people who own apartment complexes for years and years and years, and they're still seeing their amounts grow dramatically, way higher than the state cap. And they're saying, Beau, I thought the state of Florida had a cap on how much assessed values could go up each year. The answer is yes and no. Let's jump into the numbers, and you might be a little surprised. Let's go! If you're a property owner in the state of Florida, you may have seen the actual tax amount you're paying this year increase by more than 10%. Now, in the state of Florida, non-homestead property, meaning like second homes and commercial real estate, income-producing assets, anything that's not your primary residence in which you have homestead exemption for, cannot go up on the assessed values more than 10%. Now, the 10% per year cap, as many of you know, does not apply if you just bought the property. When you buy the property, that following year, everything gets reset and reassessed on the values. Once a property trades hands, the 10% cap goes away. Many of us already know that. It's once you've bought a property and the reassessment has occurred, moving forward, the assessed values cannot increase any more than 10% per year. But that 10% per year cap does not apply to the school board portion of the property tax bill. Let me jump into a spreadsheet and show you what I'm talking about. Okay, stick with me on this spreadsheet. We're going to go over a scenario where someone this year bought a property for $5 million. And next year, in 2023, around the August to November timeframe, that property is going to be assessed. Let's say it's get assessed by the property tax division for $4 million, which is about 80% of the $5 million sale price. Property taxes are decided by a millage rate. In Alachua County, for instance, the millage rate is 2.2%, or as a decimal point, 0.0220137, as we show right here. That millage rate is then multiplied times the assessed value from the tax assessor in order to come up with the actual amount of taxes. So this buyer will be paying $88,000 in property taxes in 2023, which is the subsequent year after the purchase. Now, the 22 mills, or 2.2%, is made up of several divisions to come up with that. In Alachua County, the county portion of that millage rate is 0.0078. Here's the city. Here's the library district that you would pay for as a taxpayer in a county. This is sometimes a special fund. Not all counties have this. In Alachua County, we have the Children's Trust. There's the St. John's Water Management District for your water. And then there's the school or the school boards. That's how we pay for schools in certain municipalities. When you add up all of these millage rates from each individual division, you come up with the 0.0220137. To further break that down, the county portion of the overall millage rate is 36%, the city is 25%, and the school board is 31% of the millage rate, which is applied towards your assessed values. Now, as I stated before, the 10% per year cap on the assessed values only applies to the county, city, library, Children's Trust, and St. John's Water Management District millage rates. It does not apply to the school board. The school board's assessed values can increase at any percentage per year. So let me walk you through an example, which is very real in today's times with how much values have increased, so that you get the idea. In this same scenario, you bought the property for $5 million this year. Next year, it is assessed for $4 million. Now, why isn't it assessed for the full $5 million? Most municipalities try to go after 80 to 85%, sometimes 90% of a sale price in order to meet the Department of Revenue's audit, which is who audits each tax assessor each year. The Department of Revenue wants to see at least 80% of sale prices achieved by taxing authorities on qualified sales. So the assessed value, which is the value that taxing authorities use to tax you, and the market value are the same. In subsequent years, it changes. The market value is the true market value of the asset in the eyes of the tax assessor. However, they also track assessed value, which takes into consideration the 10% cap each year that property is benefiting from because of the state of Florida cap on assessments. And the reason taxing authorities track both market value and assessed value is so that when the property trades hands again in the future, they understand what the market value is at that time, so they can go after the market value in the subsequent year after that future sale. Now, stick with me here. In the year 2024, the assessed value is capped at the 10% increase. So 10% on the $4 million becomes $4.4 million. But the true market value at that time could be $5 million. In 2025, it goes to $6 million in market value. But that property owner is getting the benefit of the 10% per year cap. So there's $4.8 million on the assessed value, and so on and so forth. By year 5 in 2027, you can see the big difference that the market value is $8 million, but the assessed value is only $5.8 million. Let's look at the 2024 value. The county portion, if you click on this cell, is showing you how the millage rate is being multiplied times the assessed value, not the market value. The same goes for the city. As you can see here, when I click on the cell, it's the millage rate of the city times the assessed value. And the same goes for library, children's trust, and the water management district. But look what happens here for the school board. When I click on the cell, it's now the millage rate of the school board times the actual market value. Now look what happens in the year 2027 after just 5 years. These authorities are still multiplying their millage rate times the assessed value. However, the school board is still multiplying their millage rate times the market value. Now look what's happened in the 2027 value percentage. We've gone from the millage rate for school boards being 31% to the value in 5 years later being 38%, which is why if you look here at the total taxes, obviously in 2023 we said it would be $88,000 because we're taking the millage rate times the $4 million assessment. But look what happens when you add up the taxes over time. In the very first year, it's going up almost 15% in the tax amount, even though there's a 10% cap on assessed values in the state of Florida. And that's because the school board's portion of the millage rate can increase at any amount on the assessed values. So each year you can see here that the rate of increases of the actual taxes is a good bit above the 10% per year. Now, conversely, if market values did not increase more than 10%, then it's likely the assessed values also won't increase all the way to the 10% portion for the non-school board portion. Another scenario could be, let's say in year 4 of ownership of this particular purchaser, the values went from 7 million to 14 million. You can see how the percentage of value of the school board went from 38% to 52% of the bill. And you can see that the actual property tax amount increased 43%. Now you may say, Beau, how does a property double in value when it hasn't sold in several years? There could be several possibilities. The market could have gone insane with lots of sales. Like in 2021, a ton of sales happened in the third and fourth quarter, all of them at dramatic increases in value. Another reason could have been that the taxing authority just missed that property over the last couple of years. And another possibility could be that in many taxing authorities, sometimes they don't do their assessments for a certain asset class every 3 to 5 years. The bottom line is, if you're in a taxing authority in which a third of your bill is made up of the school board and truly large value jumps have occurred over the last couple of years, it's very possible that your actual tax amounts that you had to pay have increased more than 10% per year. I hope this video wasn't too confusing. I know there was a lot of numbers there. If you liked the video, please give me a like down below and a subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell right next to it so you're made aware of my videos each week. See you guys in the next one.